Hello, my name is Andy Masson and welcome to Beyond Entertainment. I'm here with Nigel Goode, President and CEO of PriestmanGoode, our industrial designers. Nigel, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a great honor to be here.
It's great to be working with you. So by now we would have seen the news of the launch of Maya, this new wonderful collaboration between ourselves and Collins, and PriestmanGoode were center point of that in terms of industrial design. So thank you so much for all the partnership with that great launch.
It's a pleasure. It's a good, really exciting project, and I think it's the next stage in new generation business class seats.
We certainly hope so. We certainly hope so. So Nigel, talk to me a little bit about yourself and PriestmanGoode and industrial designers.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm a trained product designer. So for those people who don't know what product designers are, they basically usually do small domestic appliances, phones, small intricate things. So basically I graduated from that, worked in design consultancies for a while, and then I joined forces with a friend of mine who was basically at college with Paul Priestman, and the rest is history, as it were. It was quite interesting because I was always interested in how we can use our skills into environments, because product designers tend to work in small details, really. So it really interested me to sort of use the skills of an industrial designer to innovate into interiors. So that has sort of progressed really well. Our first sort of aviation project was with Virgin Atlantic it was their very first lie flat upper class seat. So it's quite an interesting story because Joe Ferry, who was a graduate of Royal College, it was his design show, and Virgin saw it and they thought, oh, this is quite interesting. So they wanted to develop it. We won the pitch and we took it from there. But since then, the company has grown quite a bit. There's 80 odd designers.
Wow, 80.
Multidisciplinary, so we work in all different areas, and the thing we specialize in really is sort of transport interiors, whether that be aircraft, trains, or sort of new forms of transport, eVTOLs, space travel. Yeah, it's all interesting stuff. So so it's quite good. So I mean, I think what sort of sets us apart is that we don't just design the cabins, we design the whole passenger experience.
Oh. And that's the passenger experience from pre-booking through the airport onto the aircraft and after.
Exactly. It's just that, because I know, often we get briefed just to do the cabin or just to do this, but you've got to really look at the touch points throughout that journey and have a consistent journey. It's all about the sort of brand and making sure that it's, because if you get one of those areas wrong, the passenger's not going to be happy. That you can't make it up just on having a nice cabin. You've got to have the complete journey as well. So we tend to be doing that, even right down to the branding, the livery, and also sort of right the way to the media delivery at the end of the project, and on from there.
So if you look at that journey, that experience, and you've worked with many, many airlines over the world, you're one of the most famous industrial designers out there. What does a really successful engagement with PriestmanGoode or any industrial designer look like? What sets you apart, like you just said, but then what will make the most successful industrial design collaboration?
Yeah, I mean, I think with sort of transport interiors, particular aircraft, they're quite complex. Yeah. They're not straightforward, and I think it needs quite a bit of experience. And airlines are spending lots of cash, and it's a big investment over a long period of time. So, you've got to have somebody who knows what they're doing. And I mean, we've been working on in this area for over 25 years. So we've got a big, extensive team who know what they're doing. And I think it's important to have that because for a designer, it's very easy for engineers and the like to say, you can't do that. So we've done quite a lot, so we can say we can. and I'm hoping we respected with the industry, and we don't take advantage of suppliers, and we want to get the best result from them. So I think it's important to work hand in hand. And I think when we're working with an airline, that's really an important part of the process.
Over the years that you've been in business, where have you seen us come from? Where are we today? Where do you see us going in the future?
I mean, I think I just mentioned Virgin before, and that was back in 1999, around that area. Mm-hmm. And that was the sort of advent of lie flat beds. And I think that
huge change for the industry.
I think that was a really inflection point within the industry, because up until then, it was just sort of trim and finish, and nothing really was happening. And then all of a sudden, lie flat beds came about, and then that really opened the floodgates, really. And I think the next point, really, the next sort of major development was new aircraft, particularly the A380. I mean, we worked with Airbus to develop their sales mock-up for the 380. And because of the size of it, there was so much you could do. And, we have bars and really...
Showers,
very sophisticated things. And I think that let the genie out of the bottle, to be honest. And I mean, everybody was buying that plane, wanted it to be their flagship. So they wanted it to be a special plane.
And it still is. I mean,
it still is
a great experience.
It breaks my heart that it's not, its days are numbered, unfortunately. But, who knows? Let's hope it comes.
I still think of the upper deck of a 47 as that. You felt special.
You did, yeah.
It was narrow, it was small, but you felt so.
It was like a little jet, wasn't
important.
It? Yeah, it was really exciting. And I think, I think, to be honest, I think the market since has got a bit stagnant. It's matured, and I think we've sort of come to this stage where
reverse herringbone,
reverse staggered,
and
variations on a theme, really. And I think the industry really needs to try very hard. I mean, you mentioned at the top of this interview about Maya, and I think really that could be the next major direction in which the industry goes, because it's a marriage of technology and, the most comfortable seat, the most, wonderful materials, the best technology and everything else. So I think we really do. That is going to open up something quite exciting moving forwards. And, I think we better watch that space, I think.
How do you stay on top of the trends, the technology? A really big subject today is sustainability. How does, your team stay on top of that and build that into their designs?
Yeah, I mean, sustainability is a difficult subject, isn't it? Because everybody wants it straight away. It's got to happen now. And I think we took the view that we needed to sort of showcase it. And I mean, back in 2019, we did a vision piece on service, actual table service and service on board, and we called it Get On Board. And the whole idea about it was basically that we were looking at what could it be in the future. I mean, the single-use plastics and the amount of waste are phenomenal. So, we looked at different types of waste materials that could be locally sourced, that made, and that we had models made, and that appeared in the Design Museum in London and went on tour, actually. And we spent a lot of time with airlines discussing this, and it really has helped, and it's really worked as well. Another area that we've been doing lots of work is with Lantal, actually, on deep dyed carpets, which is sort of their technology. And, it's quite astounding that to get one sample of carpet, you have to make 5 meters of carpet. So the wastage is quite a lot. So this is just basically a plain carpet that is digitally dyed, so you can get any design you want, and there's virtually no waste. So it's quite exciting, really. I mean, in Maya, we're trying to introduce some new fabrics there and new designs, like knitted fabrics, which are similar to Nike use on their shoes. And the main advantage of that is that it's going to be knitted to the dress cover. So it's made perfect size, and it just goes straight out of the bag, straight on the seat. So, and it also has great texture and different.
And we have the added complexity of all this technology that we've introduced to Maya as well, the speakers, this huge monitor.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that's going to be the challenge moving forwards, is because you can do all this technology, should you do it? And it's getting it right. I think this is it'll be a great test bed, Maya will, and future Mayas to really find out what the future passenger wants.
Technology for technology's sake versus an integrated engagement experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, to be honest, I think that is going to be probably one of the biggest challenges that the airlines have in the future, is that obviously they've had a tremendously bad time with COVID and everything else, but it's understanding what that future passenger wants, because it takes so long to develop a seat, to get a seat out, or to get a plane out there can take 2 to 5 years. Then it's going to be in service for at least 7, that interior. So the decisions that are made today are going to be with them for the next 10 years plus. So I think it's important to sort of really tune into the Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas, because
we did a lot of work on this, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've been growing up with the iPad and digital.
Texting since they were born.
Exactly.
Well, probably not texting now. It's probably Facebooking.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's understanding what those guys want for the future, not what we want.
So we talked about some of the challenges. What are the other challenges for us as suppliers can work with an industrial designer on? How can we better improve our engagement to create a better customer engagement for the airlines?
Yeah, I mean, the one of the biggest bugbears that I have is, as we've said, that it is such an important decision for the airlines and for suppliers, the future. And I think up until, a while, what's happened is design has been a bolt-on. It's been something that, we've got this, can we make it look better and look nicer? And I mean, when you realize how long it takes to develop these products, we're given RFPs for new projects 2 months before the ITCM or something like that. And you just think, oh my goodness me, it's we're used to working like this, but to get the best out of it, you need
the earlier engagement.
Exactly. I mean, we've got really good long-term standing clients that we've worked with for 10, 15, even 20 years. And we're like their brand guardians almost. We're not just designing it, we're making sure what they're delivering is on brand and consistent. And I think it's so important, because it's, as well, it's good having the vision, but it's that day-to-day getting it right every time. And, we work with airlines to translate our designs through all their aircraft, and it can be a tedious progress. It's not all glitter and fancy materials. It is really hard work, but it needs to be done to get that consistency and that feel, really.
Well, Nigel, thank you so much for the partnership with Maya. Thank you for agreeing to talk to us today and Beyond Entertainment.
That's a pleasure, and I think it'd be just, if there's one thing, just give us all a bit more time, I think. So it would be great.
I think we all want more time. But no, it's a great point, especially as we go through, yourselves and you're widening that design through the entire holistic passenger experience.
Yeah, I think so, because I think it's more and more that every element of that journey is so vital to getting the very best out of it. And I think, it's the consistency as well. I mean, it's fine. We don't need to be doing every bit of it, but we need to work closely with other design partners, because there needs to be cross-fertilization to get the possible routes. Obviously, we prefer to do it ourselves, but it's great to be involved in a team, and I think that's the whole industry. It needs to come together, and I think suppliers as well, they need to do more, push more, and understand that now, airlines are not going to go backwards and want less. They're going to want more. So they need to be developing their products to be more flexible so that it can be a bit more bespoke, because it's important for the airlines to put their brand on it, to put, to interpret their culture into that product. And sometimes it's quite difficult. So the airlines need that leeway from suppliers and work together and understand what everybody wants.
Have you seen any new themes emerging recently? I mean, we talked about the staggered seats, the herringbone seats. What's new coming up at the moment, if you can talk about it?
I think the thing that we're always trying to do is trying to make the interiors as luxurious as we can with the budget we've got. And also, I think, pushing the bounds as much as we can. Part of our business is actually what is called private studio, which is actually VIP, where we do VIP interiors for wide body, narrow body planes and everything else. So it's quite exciting, because usually the palette of materials you can use on board commercial aircraft is quite limited. It opens up a little bit more when it comes to private planes. And we've been able to take those materials and, look at the certification, look at different ways of doing it. And there's a lot of cross-fertilization. So moving forwards, I see that happening more, the luxury, the quality, we're striving for so much more.
Nigel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Enjoy AIX 2024. I know it's going to be hectic.
It will be. It always is, but I really enjoy it. I've been coming here 25 years now or something, so it's always good to see old friends and meet clients and
new airlines.
Airlines, let's hope.
New airlines, new ideas.
Yeah.
And thank you for your partnership with Maya.
Okay, brilliant. Great.
So thank you very much, everyone, for joining another episode of Beyond Entertainment. Please like, comment and subscribe to your podcast provider of choice. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the next exciting episode.